And you're like, did anyone hear that? Did anyone hear that? And you're like, I'm gonna act cool like it didn't happen. Then you smell it a few seconds later, and you're like, they may not have smelled it, but they might see my face. Oh, I think my eyes are watering. I'll be back in a second. Yeah, you know it happens. We're human. It happens. We fart, all right.
It happens, and then we have to exit the room, and so does anyone else in the room with us.
I'm just gonna open this window for no reason. I'm a bit hot. And then you got someone with a pneumatic drill outside. Don't worry about that sound, it's fine. And everyone in your stream's now complaining about the pneumatic drill. You're like, it's fine. It just adds some, you know. Oh, no, I'm gonna close the window because oh my god, it smells so weird. Well, there you go.
Yeah, whenever someone complains about construction, I'm like, well, have you seen the episode of Family Guy where they have the jackhammer?
Yeah, I think I have.
And I'm like, well, see, it could be worse. I could be in France where it goes, that would be terrible.
And it'd be worse if construction didn't happen because then the streets wouldn't get fixed. But there you go. What I love, though, we had it just a few months ago now, where the power on our street went out. They called people out, the emergency crews. They dug up the road, they fixed the power, and they relayed the road all within like 12 hours, right?
What?
Yeah, exactly, right? But I know this would happen, right? My wife was like, oh, my God, we're going to be without power for days. And I was like, no. They will send the emergency crews. The emergency crews are the guys who actually know what the fuck they're doing. The guys who are there for 2 years trying to fix a road, they're the guys who are cheap. The guys who don't know what the hell they're doing, they just do it. And they have to redo it 3 times because they're freaking useless, right? But the emergency crews are the guys who paid so much money that they can't afford to use them all the time, and they just get them for the emergencies. They go around the country just fixing the emergencies, and that's it. These guys are like the He-Man. They're the superheroes of construction. You know, these guys actually know what the fudge they're doing. If we had more of these, we'd need less. We'd probably spend less because they would get things done immediately. But they exist. They exist.
They don't exist in the States, though. If we had road crews like that, if we could have an emergency crew that could fix a road in 12 hours... Man, I don't know what would happen.
Yeah, the world would be a better place.
Yeah, the world would be a better place. There'd be less angry drivers.
Yeah.
And one thing that I noticed we haven't talked about, I'm trying to end this quick. This is not quick, but... what, besides a personality and a good gaming rig, what qualities do you actually need to be a great streamer? Like, do you need to know graphic design, or do you just need to know someone that knows how to do graphic design?
You don't even need a good rig. As I've proved, I've never streamed. Never streamed. And actually, I didn't actually finish my story of how I became a streamer.
Oh, you didn't finish.
I didn't actually finish because I just talked up to the point where I started ranting about what you need. But then it's a case of I got this guy who's my partner in Highfly 15 on Dorjan24 and Riveting TV. He streams everything. And I then, when he was ill and he had to go away for a couple of days, I then looked around for someone else who would stream for me. And I streamed through other people. And I've never streamed that. I have to rely on other people. It's very stressful. It's much better if you've got a gaming rig. But it will not stop you. If you want to be a caster, it won't stop you. So you don't even need the gaming rig. And so apart from that, and the personality and graphic designers and stuff like that, there are plenty of good people out there who have got none of it. And they will be a lot harder to discover. So yes, it's about knowing people to help you. Riveting TV is run at the moment by about 7 people. 7 people to do this small channel that doesn't have very many viewers at the moment. We hit like 150 viewers on a good episode and 50 on an average one. We don't do any advertising, and this is because of many technical issues we have with the other casters who don't know exactly what to do, haven't practiced enough, because they're not like me. I always sit there for hours making sure it's perfect. If there's any pixelization, I'll find out why. I'll read every forum and find out why that is. I know how to use XSplit perfectly, and I've never used XSplit. Right? And all my stream mates then ask, oh, this is going wrong. Oh, all we have to do is this, this, and this, and this. And I know how to fix it. And I've never streamed. Right? It's bizarre because I'm doing all the research about it and I care about it. And then I've got my graphic designer, Suvi. She's my secretary as well. She keeps all my thoughts together. I'm like, okay, I've got a good idea. Blah. And without her, I'll be nowhere because she writes them down. And then like a month later, I go, I had a good idea or something. And she'll be like, yes, on blah, 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 at this time on Skype, you said, and I'm like, what? And it wasn't for her. Yeah, she'd then throw it back at me and say, like, this is your idea and this is what you said about it. Wow, okay, cool. And she's also my graphic designer. She does all the graphics on Riveting TV, and it's absolutely, you need someone like that who's your backbone. that you can't just have a personality. I couldn't organize everything at the same time as I make all the business decisions and I do all the personality streaming, but without her and the other crew that I'll get to in a second, I couldn't be where I am because there's no way I could have done both. I would have done half the time I've spent on the actual stream on paperwork instead of on the stream, right? So it would have been horrible. So it just wouldn't have worked. And then I had to get people like the editor. I can't edit the stuff on Twitch and send it over to YouTube unless I had someone who could do that. And that's where Behemoth came along. He came along and said, like, you know, I can do it. I can try and spend my time. He had no qualifications, but he would learn about it. He would then go out of his way to learn about it. And then he's dabbling in other things as well. And then I have people like Disfico, Hyro from another game. He then said, like, look, I'm someone who's interested in producing. So I'm going to go and look for talent. I'm going to go start setting up the brand and give you brand awareness. But he doesn't really stream. That's why Riveting TV itself is on a bit of a hiatus until I come back and I start doing the streaming for myself, my big new location. But he's organizing everything from that end. So I have him doing a lot of business stuff as well as me. But I'm, you know, the full guy. He's like, you know, talk to me about it. Then we've got, obviously, Hi-Fi does the actual streaming himself. He's got his own personality. He does his own YouTube channel stuff, which is The Rising Sun with double I. And he does all that sort of stuff. Then I have people who do the chat. We have Capeline, who has offered his services, and we've appreciated everything he's done for us, but he doesn't really try. He does turn up when we need him to turn up, but he doesn't really try to get better. And so, unfortunately, he's not working out so much. But this is the thing. You don't know unless you try. So that's already myself, Disfico, Spyball, Behemoth, High Flyer, Capeline. That's 7. And we aren't even big, right? In global terms, we're not even big. And I don't even have a streaming setup yet. And I'm the star, the central star for it all, and the central pushing force for organizing things. High Flyer puts in a lot of effort, don't get me wrong. He just does it in a different way. He does his videos. He has a huge audience on YouTube, and he does all the streaming. He turns up and does all the streaming, and I can't appreciate that enough. Without him, I couldn't be here today. Like all my staff, and I say my staff, all Riveting TV staff. All of us have to be there. So yeah, you need people. You need to make friends with people. You need to not fakely make friends, but you have to hang out with this. You've got to sit in each other's pockets day in and day out, talking about ideas, hashing out ideas, not dismissing people, talking to them about it. If you think you've got an idea, convincing them you've got a good idea. Because if you can't convince your fellow staff mates, your fellow colleagues on your channel, how can you convince the audience that you've got a good idea? You can go ahead and do it on your own channel and then see if you get an audience growing and improve it. But basically, if you can't sell it to your colleagues, you can't sell it to anybody else. And you've got to have some place to dish it out. So, yeah. It's a lot of work. You can't just... I mean, by all means, sit there and stream yourself play and have a few people watch you and interact with them. It's cool. But don't expect anything to happen. It is hard work. But if you want it to happen and you want to put the effort in and time... Like right now, my son is waiting to play Terraria with me. My wife was dealing with the other son, and they both, apart from one time, left me alone to do it because they know how important it is to me and how much I want to do it. So without a supporting family, without a supporting crew, it's not possible because you need that time, you need that privacy, you need all of that. I wouldn't be hired by a staff to be a personality if my family were constantly coming into my stream and interrupting me because I would have been put off, I wouldn't be able to do the things I do, and the stream picture would be spoiled. But yeah.
Okay. And what are your words of advice, just regular words of advice to anyone that wants to start streaming?
Watch Day 9 Daily 100 and just turn up. Think of an idea and just do it. Do it with all your heart. There's no point turning up and just, oh, I'll give it a try. If you want to do that, enjoy yourself. You're not going to get any big, but just enjoy yourself. If you want to become a caster, just turn up when you say you'll turn up and do it. Just do it until it's done, and then look at it, review it, and get better. Improve yourself, you'll feel better for it. The audience will love you because you're getting better and you're trying. And they like you. People like you. Not just they. Viewers aren't just a thing, they're people. People like you when you believe in you, and you're not cocky, you just try, and they can tell you're trying. I mean, if you watch my stream, a lot of people are like, oh, he's just naturally funny, he's just naturally blah, blah, blah. Yes and no. You've got to have something there. But at the same time, it's a lot of practice. There's a lot of experience of watching other people do it before you and learning from their mistakes and asking for advice. Don't be afraid to turn up to, like I did, turn up to Gamescom, pull Day9 to one side and say, hey, love what you do. Give me some tips. Talk to me. Then ring nice people, because we're presenters, we're entertainers. We like talking to people. And by all means, his personal life is out there in the internet. He knows that. So I knew more about him than he knows about me. I'm just a stranger. And yet he still emails me occasionally and talks to me. And that's just amazing. And yeah, just do it. A lot of people's like, oh, how could you go up and talk to Day9 about this sort of stuff? Well, why wouldn't you? And that's the difference. Just do it. Just turn up and do it.
All right. And we're going to bring this to a close. I know that you have other things that you need to do today. We did an extra long interview, but that's all right.
Why not?
And after this, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have some websites and resources that I'll grab from him at maybe a later time or maybe right after this for anyone that wants to know about World of Tanks and other streaming resources. And this is Wings and
Dorjan24.
And we'll see you next time.